Welcome in to I Remember My First Time. Oh, don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
Damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings.
I like the sound of that.
Where we talk about movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
Okay, this is sounding better.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
We love shitty movies. Sometimes even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love movies?
Oh, we love the shit out of movies. In this week's masterpiece, Entertainment Weekly ranked this as the 19th scariest movie of all time. 1986 Rutger Hauer classic, The Hitcher.
Jacob, my mom always warned me about picking up guys like you.
BJ, stop holding that switchblade to my dick, bro.
I am horrible West Texas Sheriff, BJ Leica.
Joined as always by me, Jacob Ickes, whose current job is to literally pick up hitchhikers.
How'd this movie help with that?
The same way it helps out with Jaws. Like, fuck sharks. Fuck hitchhikers. And we're joined today by our second repeat guest on the pod.
All right.
Hey, yo.
Mitchell Droz.
The Mitch is back.
I think is going to be our official horror movie guest.
Oh, I love that idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
With the exception of Some Kind of Monster, the Metallica documentary when we do documentaries.
That
So
exists.
yeah, you were on when we did A Nightmare on Elm Street, which we all enjoyed, but would never watch again.
Underwhelmed, I would say, is the
Yes,
proper word.
Definitely underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed is better.
Needed more out of that.
That's not what happened in this movie.
No. This far exceeded my expectations in every way. Within the first minute and a half, I was like, "Oh, this is so much better." Just based on the intro itself, but we can get to that later. Yeah, very good film.
BJ, tell us a little bit about this movie.
You're going to love this, Jacob. You're going to love this description from HBO Max.
Let me hear it.
An innocent young man is dragged into a nightmare of murder in the remote desert by a crazed hitchhiker in this 1986 classic.
Awesome. For anybody that hasn't seen this movie, turn off the podcast right now and watch the trailer. I don't care if you watch the movie, because if you don't care about spoilers, I don't care that you don't care. But press pause and watch the fucking trailer, because it is fucking wild.
At least do that, because the trailer makes it look like Cocaine the movie, and it is not lying. It's just going nonstop.
I think it's more mushrooms than cocaine. Like, it's not full LSD, but it's got some of those elements.
I could see that, but there is just...
I'm going to go different than both of you. I'm going with this is Crack the movie.
Okay.
This is hit a crack pipe and let's fucking go.
And then it's over. Shit, that was an hour and a half? Woo.
Damn. I don't know if I have the life experience to know what crack feels like.
Oh, neither do I, so...
I just know that it's more intense than nose candy.
And there you are.
What else?
This
you got for us?
movie is rated 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh, that's low. Wow.
No, it's pretty
Low
I think
for how
it's-
good it is in my book.
Yes, but I think for how good this is in general, because people don't like horror movies, I think it's pretty good on IMDb.
It's going to get worse for you. 62% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
32% Metacritic score.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, well, fuck a tomato and fuck a Metacritic. Damn.
32%.
This is a good film. This is a good film. This is a ride. An absolute ride. Wow.
Okay, so Roger Ebert's a critic, and just based on the 32% score, I would say he didn't like this movie, but coming into the pod, and I cheated a little bit. I know that he didn't like this movie because it was on, and I didn't cheat on purpose. It's on my trivia. But coming into the pod, I thought Roger liked this movie because Roger does a good job of knowing what he's getting into when he watches movies. And I don't think you see this trailer or go into this movie not knowing what you're getting into. So I lose this one. I thought Roger liked this movie, but BJ, go on.
I didn't get an actual score, but it has it as a thumbs down.
So before you go on, my trivia says this is one of the few movies to which Roger Ebert gave 0 stars.
And maybe that's what the thumbs down means. I don't know.
Wow.
Metacritic has him rating it a 0, but I didn't know if that was from the thumbs down thing or what. Honestly, this isn't my favorite Roger Ebert review, and not because we have differing opinions on this movie, but you know how Roger gets hung up on stuff in every review?
Yeah.
He couldn't make sense of the relationship between the two main characters in this movie. C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer. He feels like the critics cheaped out by not saying what their relationship was and hid it in a bunch of violence and gore.
I don't think they had a relationship.
Mm-mm.
Like their relationship at the end of the day was like the Hitcher he really, in my mind, wanted someone to stop him. And the last guy couldn't, and he fucking killed him. And so now he's on to the next guy.
And this guy thwarted him at one point.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So he was like, oh, maybe you're the one to get me. Raj might have been overthinking it. He ends the review. On its own terms, this movie is deceased and corrupt. I would have admired it more if it had found the courage to acknowledge the real relationship that was portraying Howell and Rutger. But no, it prefers to disguise itself as a violent thriller. And on that level, it is reprehensible.
Fuck you, Roger.
What?
So
What?
So
Hold
on
on.
my trivia, him and Gene Siskel denounced this movie for its violence on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Carson asked them if they were opposed to censorship, and Ebert replied, quote, "Of course, the film should be made, it should be shown, and it should not be attended by anybody."
Wow, dude. And maybe it is such a good film in terms of modern film, because in terms of like modern thrillers and things like that, this absolutely ages like fine wine, baby. This is a great thriller, and also has some pretty scary horror movie moments. Like it's a good one.
They don't actually show the violence.
That's
they
what I'm
only
saying.
show the aftermath.
Psychological. Yeah. It's all psychological. It's in your head. So I mean, it's all about how you process it. So I don't know. I think Ebert definitely loses this one for me. Like, wow, dude.
I do have another excerpt that I stole here because I couldn't make heads or tails of this. This is from Jay Scott. This is our boy who, in our lost episode that will never be heard by anyone, Jurassic Park, claimed there was no sense of wonder in the Steven Spielberg classic Jurassic Park. Mitchell is looking at me with the bewilderment
that we have both experienced.
Wow.
The movie that brought back dinosaurs. There's no sense of wonder.
I'm like, huh? How many books are on my kids' shelf because of that movie? Okay, cool. Yeah.
So about this movie, I need some help because he says, a slasher movie about gay panic, a nasty piece of homophobic angst for the age of AIDS. And I need someone to explain that to me.
So I think I got it, because a lot of this was brought up on the random reviews on IMDb. There's one scene in this movie at the very beginning where Rutger Hauer has the switchblade up against that dude's dick. We mentioned it in our opening quote.
Yep.
And the construction worker goes, "Y'all get on ahead, sweethearts."
Yep.
Because he saw the hand near his dick. And that's the only moment of any gay thing happening in this movie.
That's it.
And it overtook people for some fucking reason.
Why do people panic about that? That is just straight up homophobia en masse. Like that sounds like something that Stephen King would throw into one of his books for just like a bad guy to do. That felt like a Stephen King moment to me. You know? Like not like a big deal at all. It's like, hey, he had to hold him hostage for a second. Oh, now it's over.
Why did the construction worker let him go when clearly something weird was happening?
Well, I mean, it might have weirded out
whatever,
the construction worker because of the time period, so that's why he did it.
Well, and that's why he's like, the construction worker senses something weird is going on.
I don't want to deal with that.
And in a movie, you always get the, well, why didn't he call it in? He knew something weird was going on. That's why. It was a 6-second portion of this.
It's not enough. It didn't even register. So that's a trip.
Yeah, and for some reason, people just latched on to that one moment in the film, and it was just like, gay! No!
Can't handle it.
It's his icy blue eyes that makes Thomas Howell really get wet.
He's
hard.
handsome motherfucker. I mean, damn. We don't have to talk about that.
Jacob, how'd this movie do in the box office?
Horrible. It did absolutely horrible.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know how. It's definitely a cult classic.
Yeah.
Its budget was $7.9 million in 1985. So today that's 21.4.
Oh.
Bigger than I thought.
Pretty hefty budget for a horror movie, but I mean, you got the helicopter, you got the bus flipping over, and all the cars.
Yeah. All the pyro. That's a lot of pyro.
There was some intense shit going on.
A lot of pyro.
Opening weekend. Actually, this is just all of box office, not opening weekend. I don't have those numbers. This is what it did total. Its budget was 7.9. It made 5.8 million.
Oh,
that's a shame.
So today, 15.7.
Is that like a profit, or is that the total amount?
That's the total amount.
Gross.
They didn't even cut even
Until well after it was out.
Nasty.
DVD sales probably helped that a lot.
I was about to say, yeah.
And I don't have those on hand.
Nope. Yikes.
So, not good.
Wow. Not a successful film at all. And it, in my book, is better than Nightmare on Elm Street.
Cool.
Yes.
None of us are disagreeing with that.
Heyo.
So into reviews, I'll just get right into it. I really enjoyed this movie. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was really good, though. It's interesting in the way that Rutger Hauer portrays the horror movie villain. I thought he was fantastic in this. The big takeaway I had from this movie, I always thought that horror movies were essentially two types, either slasher movies or psychological. This movie makes me realize there's a third subgenre, and it's, what's the best way to describe it? Mystery thriller. Or thriller horrors.
Thriller horrors.
I like that mystery thriller angle, because what I was talking about earlier is I had similar feelings after this movie that I did after watching The Usual Suspects, which is absolutely like a whodunit mystery, except this does have those elements to it, because you're trying to figure out what's going on for the first half of the movie, because I did have to split it into 2 sittings. And so for the first half, I was like, oh, okay, this has one interesting vibe. And then for the second half, it's just keeps going, and it just goes harder, faster, stronger in that direction. Man, yeah.
Jacob?
This movie was a great movie. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. From the moment it started, sometimes I try to, during slow parts of the movie, I try to get on my phone to, get ahead of trivia and get ahead of reviews. And every time I did that, I would have to rewind 15 seconds because I'm just like, I just missed the Hitcher just shooting this fucking cop in the neck, and the blood just... Incredible movie. Every time you start to feel a little slow, just bam, something happens. It was a great movie.
What'd you really like about it?
Just how fast everything happens. It wastes no time. I mean, he picks up the Hitcher in the first 30 seconds of the movie.
Mitchell, what'd you like so much about it?
I mean, from the very get-go, it was kind of funny. I was watching that whole intro scroll with the credits, just thinking about the music, the rain and everything, just going, man, this is just kind of putting me to sleep. Like, oh man, I really don't want this to be another nightmare situation where it looks really good and then it's just not great. And then it just rips you right in and you don't stop until it's over. It is an hour and a half of just holy crap. There are so many different aspects to the film. I mean, as far as the mystery elements, trying to figure out what's going on from a psychological aspect, because there are points where, like we talked about before we started recording, you're wondering if this dude has magic powers because he's just ridiculous. The Hitcher.
At the very least, he's Rambo.
Oh, man.
If he doesn't have powers, he's Rambo.
Yeah. This guy is something. So very good film, a lot going on, and I'm excited to break it down.
The 2 things that really stand out to me with this movie, the pacing's incredible.
Yes.
Absolute edge of your seat the entire time. Just enough time to breathe before you get back up on the edge of your seat. That's phenomenal.
2 bites of popcorn, you're back in.
And Rutger Hauer.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I was terrified of him.
Very scary. Because you can't figure out his motivations throughout the entire film, other than what Jake brought up. He just wants to be stopped. And beyond that, I'm just sitting there going, what else do you want? Is that it? That's all you want? Whoa. There's just a lot going on.
Now, I may have to sit on this, but in terms of bad guy movie villain rankings, this is up there.
Yeah.
I don't know where, but it's up there.
Yeah. Which we got two up there characters from Rutger Hauer. We have the Hitcher,
Yeah,
and his character in Blade Runner.
The original?
Yeah, because he was fucking intense in that movie too. But yeah, the Hitcher's up there for fucking sure.
he absolutely kills it.
I can't wait to do Hobo with a Shotgun on this pod.
Is he in Hobo with a Shotgun?
He is the Hobo with a Shotgun.
Makes sense.
And he's in fucking incredible.
So he's essentially the same character.
He is the same character. He comes back from the dead.
Just 30 years later.
Damn.
Is there anything you didn't like about the movie?
I don't know about didn't like, but I felt like I had some unanswered questions. There's got to be more to it of why Rutger Hauer chose C. Thomas Howell. There's got to be more to it. I feel like I never got my my full emotional arc with that. I want a little bit more.
I think he just picked him up. I don't think there's a reason. It's just the next car that was on the road.
No. The reason he keeps him alive and frames him and not someone else. I'd like to think it's more complicated than, yeah, he beat me once. I guess this is the guy. And I would say I wanted to see one of his badass murder sprees. Rutger Hauer's.
Yeah.
I wanted to see one of them.
I know which one I wanted to see.
The police station.
Yep.
Those cops were fucking retarded.
After seeing that dog just munching on that cop's neck, I was like, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see that scene.
Yeah, how that actually played out.
Yeah.
Mitchell, you liked it? Anything you didn't like? You can nitpick.
It's kind of hard for me to nitpick. There was one particular scene where I wasn't sure how he was able to kill the family in the car as quickly as he did. The one that was towing the boat, like the timing on that one was a little funky.
The whole time construct in this movie is funky.
A little bit, yeah. But that particular scene with the boat, the family towing the boat, rather, when he pulls up on him and then he's like, oh, they're already all dead. You're just kind of going, how did that happen that quickly? Because he was right behind them, and then, okay, yeah, he got tagged, spun out, and then caught back up. But that was a very brief amount of time for him to be able to pull all of that off and then still get away. So
that's kind of the superhero-ness.
Exactly. Like that's
the magical element that does he have? Does he not?
Oh man,
you felt like you weren't
that quick. Like, damn, you got that whole family and then just got out of there. Like, wow. At the same time, later on, he takes a nap, wakes up, like you said, the whole police station, done. Maybe that's part of what we're supposed to expect out of the character, and it was supposed to set you on edge even more. So I guess maybe my critique is just kind of adding to the mystique of the bad guy, because that guy's intense. So I don't know if I really have anything bad to say.
Jacob?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm right there. I have nothing bad to say about this movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Incredible. So yeah, me and Mitchell think it was a great movie. You think it was a good movie?
I would say more than good. I don't know if I'm going to go so far as to say really good, but definitely solidly good.
So there's good, solidly good, really good, then great.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad I understand your good scale.
Sure.
It's a solid scale.
Mount Rushmore of scenes. The top foe.
Whew. Oh yeah.
And in case nobody's figured it out, we're all virgins here.
Yep.
So BJ, you start us off.
So my fourth favorite scene, and I think this is supposed to be the climax of the movie. It is the scene where Jennifer Jason Leigh is getting Levi jeans logoed on the two trucks. Wow.
Levi jeans logoed. Perfect.
That is one way to put it.
Thank you. Because that's what's happening. Two horses are pulling apart the pair of jeans. What's happening to her? It starts when they get into the motel and see Thomas Howell goes to shower. When it pans over to Rutger Hauer in the room, that is as frightened as I've been from Rutger Hauer this entire movie.
Oh, yeah. Maybe in his history of film. That lightning strike hits, his face lights up, and you're going, oh, fuck me in the ass. We're done.
Yeah, that was fucking nuts.
That's my fourth favorite.
Mitchell, your fourth favorite.
I actually don't know if I can rank these in any particular order.
That's okay.
That's kind of the real Mount Rushmore, right?
That's kind of how I'm going to do this Mount Rushmore. As on Nightmare, it was easy. I could go 1 through 4, bam, bam, bam. But this one, it's a little bit different. So I'm just going to start with what comes first. The intro. I started off this movie and had, I had mid expectations. The trailer made it look really intense, really fast paced. And I'm like, it's it's hour and 37 minutes, but it's effectively a 90-minute film. And even from the very beginning, when they're doing that intro title scroll with like the actors' names across with like the red text and everything, the rain's hitting, the music is hitting. And I'm just standing there watching this going, oh man, I'm about to fall asleep. This is going to put me to sleep. I'm a minute and a half into this movie and I'm going to fall asleep. Oh, that's a bus. And you're awake. And from that moment on, I don't know if you've ever fallen asleep at the wheel or been driving late at night and had not anything close to that, but just like one of those moments where you just have to wake up again. But holy cow, that was real. Like that was visceral. Yeah. So it rips you right back in and it doesn't stop.
Where's the scene end for you?
When he picks up the Hitcher. Because from there, it just goes. But yeah, that whole intro.
My fourth favorite scene is also the intro. I end it with him seeing the family in the other car.
Okay.
But like you said, the visceral nature of waking back up from falling asleep at the wheel. Because they got that moment on fucking point.
All the way down to the way that the lens is scoped. Because it's like a smaller, tighter frame, and then it opens up after that.
Yeah, it was incredible directing.
Great.
I enjoyed him picking up the Hitcher and us getting, I haven't been able to bring this up a lot in previous episodes, but my foreshadowing, how much blood jets out of a guy's neck when his throat gets slit. And
a lot.
And we kind of got that whenever Rutger Hauer shot the cop in the neck and the blood just went.
I wanted him to give an actual velocity number.
Me too. And you got another good quote. Any idea what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured? Like, I'm just like, oh my God, this is great. Mm-hmm. And then just the uncomfortableness. Like, I immediately understood, like, what this movie, like, all right, we're in the thick of it immediately.
Yeah.
I don't need gas. I thought you just said you need gas. Like, all of it was. And Rutger Hauer's portrayal of the Hitcher from the get-go, you're just like, oh my God. This is terrifying.
I like that, but for me, I can see why you extended it. But for when he gets in the car, man, you just see his face, and you're like, "Oh, this kid's fucked."
Yeah.
But man,
yeah. So my third favorite scene is in lockstep with your guys' fourth, but I actually start it to when he picks up Rutger Hauer to when he kicks him out of the car.
Okay.
Because I thought,
kicking him out of the car was great.
In horror, the one thing you're always worried about in horror movies is the acting gonna suck?
Yeah.
And when those two got in the car together, it was like, oh no, the acting's not gonna suck. In fact, it's really good.
Chemistry was just fire. Absolute fire.
Agreed. Cool. So that was a quick third scene. Mitchell, number 3.
For me, it's gonna be poor girl gets ripped in half. Yeah. that whole the way that played out, he gets in the shower and he's finally getting just a second to breathe. Like he's like, okay, cool, I can finally have a second,
and like we can finally have a second. Like watching
we can
this
breathe
movie
too. Like this is awesome. Like everybody's collectively smoking a cigarette after the orgasm that was the first act. And
I would say second act. I would say this is the start of the third act.
I guess, this would be the start of the third act, because the start of the second act would be when they're at the diner together having the conversation, and then he tells them the gun's not loaded. That would be...
Finger in the fries.
So, from there, all the way to the conversation they're having in the semi-truck, where the cops basically tell him, he wants to talk to you, and it's on you, and good luck. That entire situation is just pure torture, because it's in so many ways out of this kid's hands because, like, he's just, as far as we know, a kid from Chicago. It's not like he has any experience with any of this crap. So he's just trying to figure it out and trying to figure out why this guy is doing what he's doing. So the acting, the chemistry between those two for that scene, and then the ultimate outcome, the way they're playing on your nerves, the way they're playing on the situation, the camera work, and the camera work,
make
man.
you feel like maybe she'll get out of it.
And right, but the camera work, like to have it on her hands, but also on his foot, but also on the things. Like there are so many elements of that we see in
like
TV
for a second,
shows.
you think she's gonna get out of it, but you also know that there's no fucking way.
We take it for granted. Because we see these things in TV shows now, probably because of movies like this that did it back then. Because I'm also looking at it through like this is a 1986 movie. Cameras were not the same that they are now. So some of those tight angles, dude, I'm just sitting there going, how? Incredible.
Jacob, number 3?
That's also my third favorite scene.
Damn, look at y'all.
For all the same reasons.
Scene chemistry.
Yeah. The hotel room, her calling her dad. Like, I thought it was going to be bad because she was calling her dad. And then the very next moment, Rutger Hauer's in the room, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Yeah. And then he lays down next to her in just attention. He starts cuddling her, and she grabs his hand. I'm like, oh my God. Just cringeworthy. Hopefully we'll do this movie at some point. Sean Bean can do an incredible death scene. If you ever want to see, how did you refer to this scene, BJ? The Levi logo?
Yeah.
If you ever want to see that happen, unlike this movie, Black Death with Sean Bean.
What's up with Sean Bean dying? Why Sean Bean got to die so much?
He likes doing it.
Is he Danny Trejo?
Better.
No one is better than Danny Trejo on this podcast. We've invited Danny Trejo on this podcast.
You are correct. Danny Trejo is better than Sean Bean, but nobody dies better than Sean Bean.
All right.
I stand by that. But yeah, if you want to see it actually happen, Black Death, but this scene was incredible because it's the same intensity that Mitch was talking about. And I love their conversation inside the cab of the truck.
It's great. Those two have phenomenal chemistry in this movie.
So good.
My second favorite scene, I got to go with the end scene. The final showdown, C. Thomas Howell finally killing off Rutger Hauer.
When do you start this scene?
In the interrogation room.
Okay.
Where
that's further than I started back, but okay.
Where I thought that was a really good scene where it's like he can't see or hear us. And he turns and he's staring right at C. Thomas Howell with those just absurdly ice cold blue eyes. It's too good not for me to sneak it in here.
No, that's fair. I mean, that's a good place to start that scene. And I love the spit that C. Thomas Howell just launches on Rutger Hauer's face.
So much spit.
It was incredible. And I want to know if it was real spit because, actors are fucking crazy and I can see them actually doing that. I love Rutger Hauer just smiling and rubbing it in his face.
Oh, God, that was the creepiest part of this movie to me. Because there's nothing more disgusting than spit.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man.
What does that mean?
Have you seen Two Girls, One Cup? There's definitely more disgusting things than spit.
I have not. I have actively gone my whole life without seeing that, and I've had dozens of people try to show me it.
Your friends didn't try hard enough because my friends just said, "Hey, man, here you go," and I didn't. There it was, and I'm like, "No, man, there are worse things than spit, Chief."
I've never seen it either because I refuse.
Wow, I am the only one on the. Wow,
I refuse to.
Yeah,
I remember my first time Two Girls, One Cup episode.
Yikes, dude! Yikes, dude!
Ooh.
Y'all just keep avoiding that for the rest of y'all's goddamn lives.
We will.
I will. Don't worry.
That is the whole point.
My little asshole middle school friends were relentless. Anyways, moving right along.
Your second favorite scene, Mitchell?
Gotta go with car chase helicopter explosion. Yeah, that was absolutely insane. So
okay, if there's a scene that you're calling car chase helicopter explosion, it's gonna make the top 4 on this podcast.
No matter what.
It absolutely has to.
No matter what.
So they being our protagonist and his lovely gal have just exited the bus and they are now trying to escape a series of police attempts to bring them in. And you have about 10, maybe 15 minutes of nonstop GTA the movie.
Oh yeah,
where there are just nonstop cops coming after him, and there's just shit going on.
yeah.
And
They got to the
that
5-star rating because
they
the
do.
helicopter showed up.
Oh, very quickly, yes. And so they're not even trying to shoot back because the girl doesn't want to, and he doesn't really want to, but like they got to defend their lives. So they finally try to defend themselves. This guy pulls what I can only call a fighter jet move. He's got 2 cops, one on either side. Both have shotguns pointed at him. He slams on his brakes. The cops shoot at each other, hit the tires. Both cars flip. And then after that craziness that you're already on the edge of your seat for, you think they have a second to breathe, and a motherfucking helicopter comes over the hill. And you're like, what the hell is going on from here?
Yeah,
and
I give up.
You're locked in.
This is one of the things that happens in the trailer.
But
you're just like, what the fuck is going on in this movie?
But what is even crazier is the Hitcher helps them escape the cops. And at that point, from then on, you're going, okay, now I thought I understood this character. Now I understand his motivations even less, because he just helped them escape. And then he helps them escape only to rip homegirl in half. What in the ass? This guy is pure anarchy. He is fascinating as a villain. Very intense. Very intense. Yeah.
My number 2 favorite scene is the final showdown.
All right.
Nice.
It was incredible. I started when he takes the Dodge Ram Charger, whatever that's called. It's called something weird.
It's an SUV. The Chevy Blazer? Is that what it is?
I know what it is. It's called something weird.
We don't care.
No,
this isn't the
Chevy Blazer.
This isn't the 1980s car podcast.
No.
We're not talking about Fox body Mustangs on this podcast.
You are correct, but I care because this was my dad's favorite car of mine that he had when I was growing up.
Oh, the Dodge version of the Bronco.
It's called the Dodge Ram Charger. It's got Charger in the name.
Okay, all right.
Thing's incredible. That's where I start this scene. I loved him pulling the gun out on the cop and then going and the fucking bus and just seeing the inside of the bus and how that was starting to happen with Rutger Hauer. I was like, well, fuck, this is... I'm watching this movie with my girlfriend. I'm like, there's no fucking way this is how the movie ends. And then sure enough, it doesn't. And just diving through the fucking windshield. Love that.
Has there ever been a movie where cops have looked dumber than this movie?
No.
And I love that in modern context.
Yeah. This movie
laugh so much
came
at
out in 2022, people would be like, "This is clearly a way for liberal Hollywood to try to defund the police."
And we're all sitting here going, "Absolutely, what a bunch of twats." Anyways, man.
But yeah, that was my second favorite scene. It was fucking incredible. I loved this final showdown, diving through the windshield, running them over. The truck not starting, and then how the whole movie ends, just a silhouette of that Dodge Ram Charger and him lighting up a cigarette.
Oh, the end credits were great.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
stunning
the outro
shot.
credits,
yeah.
And with the sunset and everything, and it almost looked animated because it didn't even look real as the credits started to come up with the sun and everything, but just that shot into it. So pretty, so nice.
So BJ, I'm pretty sure we have the same favorite scene.
Yeah, it's this podcast. And there's a scene that we can describe as car chase helicopter explosion scene.
Correct.
That's my number 1 scene.
Yes.
There's a car chase and a helicopter explosion. That's my favorite scene of this movie.
Like you said, this is the Mount Rushmore of scenes. They're all equal. And, for the most part they are. But sometimes it's easy to rank 1 through 4 or whatever. 2, 3, and 4, they can be interchangeable. Number 1 is this motherfucking scene.
I would like to see a movie.
Rutger Hauer takes a helicopter out of the sky with a 6-shooter hand cannon.
Look, if there's a movie where someone shoots a helicopter out of the sky and it's not on the Mount Rushmore on this podcast, I would like to know what that movie is.
The Wolverine. Well, no, he jumps through the helicopter. That's the number 1 scene in the movie.
No. The number 1 scene is when he gets the anti-antium put in. Oh, wait. You talking about the Origins or?
The X-Men Origins Wolverine, the bad
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. The best scene of that movie is when he gets the anianium in his bones.
I mean, it's so good, but also
The helicopter scenes
through a
too.
helicopter.
It's still on the Rushmore.
Jumps through it.
It's still on the Rushmore, but the anianium scene's won.
Okay.
Right, Jacob?
Okay.
You got your host back, or you going with your guest back?
My host.
All right.
He jumps through a helicopter. Watch the fucking movie.
We will.
It's been so long since I saw that movie, and it was the worst one, so I haven't rewatched it.
It was an awful film. The best scene is when he jumps through a helicopter, and that is an unfortunate reality. And I love Wolverine. You can look at the posters.
I feel like I know what your number one favorite scene is, because it's the final showdown, right?
Actually, look, y'all talked about that long enough that I'm going to shift gears, and I'm going to shed some light on what I called my honorable mention. The greatest Nike ad of all time. Ever, period. So they're at the gas station, and they have a little bit of a showdown where homie pulls up in his truck.
Rutger
Hauer. Yep. And he has splattered gasoline all over our protagonist. And you're expecting death, because that's really all that can happen at that point. You know, he's got a match lit. And somehow, with the best tight shot on what you said, the Nike Pegasus,
Air Pegasus.
Yeah,
I might be wrong, but
yeah, but just the tight shot on the Nikes as he outruns fire to get into his car, and then make a miraculous getaway. I have to shed a little bit of light on that before I get to what is my actual favorite scene. The showdown in the outro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Knew it.
Yeah. That has to be
we all
my
had the
favorite
same
scene.
4.
We did all have the same 4, just in different orders.
Different orders, but yeah, that is the way that it plays out.
My number one honorable mention was going to be taking the cops hostage, but it's actually going to be the restaurant scene. The guns unloaded.
French fry finger?
No. That was the first restaurant scene.
Oh, okay.
When the guns unloaded and Rutger Hauer sits in front of him.
Yeah.
And then gives him the bullets. But before giving them bullets, he puts the coins on his face, which Greek mythology and other cultures too, you put coins on the eyes to make it past the
river Styx.
Yeah, exactly. Did you have an honorable mention you wanted to mention?
I like French fry finger scene.
Okay.
Oh shit, he's here.
Mm-hmm.
It was sneakily frightening and didn't take too long, and great little pulling out a finger in the French fry. I'll throw that in there just to give it love, but kind of was surprised that we all had the same 4.
I was too. Because there's so many good scenes in this movie.
So, movie-related talk for this week. I was kind of curious what you guys thought. Masked horror movie villain or unmasked horror movie villain? What do you guys like better?
I got to go with unmasked, because the more human the villain is, I think the scarier they are. The closer that they look to an everyday person, the more under your skin I think they can get. Like, as scary as somebody like Pennywise the Clown is, when you've got a character like Hannibal Lecter, yeah, Hannibal's way scarier. Way scarier.
For me, it just depends on the kind of horror movie you're going for.
Okay.
Like if I'm watching like a slasher or something like that, like Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, like I want that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like that's cool. That's what I want. Like they're inhuman kind of thing. But this was incredible. Another good example, I don't know if y'all have seen it, but Funny Games with Tim Roth. Mitchell knows what I'm talking about. Incredible. And it's weird. So I guess for the most part, I'm going to go mask killers, because then you have the movie Strangers, and they keep their masks on the whole time. And for me, that was terrifying too. I don't know if you've ever seen that, BJ, but they're in their vacation cabin, and they're just, it's this moment in the film where they've been terrorized and they're tied up and just shit's going down. And the female actor is just, why are you doing this to us? Just a simple answer, because you were home. And they had a mask on the whole time. So I'm going to go mask. But I like unmasked villains too. It just depends what horror movie I'm watching. But I'm gonna go Mask for the most part.
Man, that's good arguments. I'm kind of in the middle because there's something to the Mask when you have a movie poster or a Halloween costume or something like that really expands that movie. But I think Mitchell's right. I think the Unmask is far scarier.
It's the strength of the actor too, because for the actor to pull off a scary unmasked villain, oh shit.
Yeah, you have to have like a Rutger Hauer or an Anthony Hopkins or a Kevin Spacey.
A lot of usual suspects talk on this.
Yeah,
scale. I like it.
I feel that like Unmasked is incredible, and for me, it depends on what horror movie you're going for.
Fair. I can see your argument, Jake.
Yeah.
Character breakdown.
All right. Who do you want to start with?
Oh, the man.
Rutger Hauer?
Rutger fucking Hauer.
Oh my god.
Do y'all remember the first Rutger Hauer movie you watched by chance?
No.
Mitchell, I feel like ours is the same one because I feel like I showed you this movie. Sin City was the first Rutger Hauer movie I ever watched. He was the priest that ate people with what's Frodo's name? The actor that played Frodo? Mitchell?
I don't know.
Come on, you know this.
I'm too busy trying to think about Rutger Hauer in terms of older Rutger Hauer because I think he was in The Rock with Nicolas Cage, and I might be wrong.
Oh, we know who was in The Rock in this podcast.
If Rutger
that wasn't him, then
if Rutger Hauer was in The Rock, then The Rock is the first Rutger Hauer movie I've seen.
Yeah, because I thought he was in there somewhere, and if not, then I'm just wrong, and I've got his face wrong. But then, yeah. And as far as the guy that plays Frodo, God, I haven't thought about Lord of the Rings in so long. I love it, but man, Elijah Wood. I think
there we go.
Name. Yeah,
yeah. In Sin City, Rutger Hauer and Elijah Wood ate people, and Rutger Hauer played a priest.
Yeah, I remember that.
Have you seen Sin City, BJ?
I have. I don't remember it.
Oh my god, Robert Rodriguez is fucking phenomenal.
God, the Rutger Hauer looks like the guy
that's another Danny Trejo reference.
Oh, I know Danny Trejo's in Sin City.
Oh yeah,
Danny Trejo's in everything that
is
Robert Rodriguez does, and is good. Yes, and Rutger Hauer was not in The Rock.
Okay, cool. Well, then I was wrong, and that's totally fine. Then, yeah, it was Sin City, and damn. Okay.
But Rutger Hauer was incredible in this movie.
Such a good villain.
Every movie that he's in, he's just so fucking intense.
Yeah.
So intense.
I want to see more Rutger Hauer movies. I've seen 4. I've seen The Hitcher, Sin City, Blade Runner, and Hobo with a Shotgun. And let me tell you.
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things.
Hobo with a Shotgun is akin to like Grindhouse B or C movie kind of thing. And it's fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's called Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah.
You know what you're watching.
I assumed it didn't win any Academy Awards.
Anything else to say on Rutger Hauer, guys?
He's great.
As far as how he is in this film, man, I haven't had a lot of experience with him. Then Sin City would have been the last thing I saw him in because I've seen bits and pieces of Blade Runner. But yeah, this would be the real big debut because he's in the whole film, and that man is ice cold. There's ice in his veins. He is solid. The way that he even just looks at each of his, eventual victims, and then the dude that would eventually take him out. The way that he approaches them, his facial expressions, his eyes, the way that he moves. It makes you wonder if he's a genuine creep because he is able to just slide right into that character. He gave me shades of Hopkins as Lecter. So he's like, just creepy. Bundy without the eating. I don't like it. Ugh. And you know what? With the way that he talks about how he dismembered the first family or whatever, or the first guy in the car, it makes you wonder, maybe he does the eating too. Fuck, you don't know. This guy's a loon. So crazy and so good. He's an incredible villain for sure, and I want to see more of his films.
I do too. He was incredible. His portrayal of the villain just had me on the edge of my fucking seat.
Killed it, pun intended.
Very few lines too.
Didn't need him. It was all body. It was all face and eyes and just goddamn. Whoever he understudied or whatever he watched, I mean, fuck, being in 86, maybe he just watched the Manson tapes and was like, yeah, I'm just going to be crazy. But like
much more stoic than you would see on a Manson tape, though.
Yeah, but but he had the crazy eyes going.
Yeah.
That was the uneasy part. Like he had the Manson eyes, the crazy eyes.
And if I could, if I had to choose a name that I had heard before that existed to be renamed, Rutger Hauer's on top of the fucking list because what a badass fucking name.
Fucking phenomenal.
So this movie had the gall to have its two lead actors be Hauer and Howell.
Yeah.
Jesus.
C. Thomas Howell, baby.
What do you got to say about him?
This is the first C. Thomas Howell movie I've ever seen, and I thought he was incredible.
I know the name, but I don't know what else he's in, and I don't know why I know the name.
I've seen his face, but for me, it was like watching Ferris Bueller, Marty McFly hybrid, except he has way higher survival skills.
Cool kids of the 80s. Really.
I mean, yeah, he was
in The Outsiders and Red Dawn.
Then I saw him in both of those.
Yeah.
Red Dawn's the one I recognize him in then.
Outstanding movie for this podcast.
Yeah.
Man, The Outsiders is good too. Like that's a good one. I would have seen him in that for sure, skis. Okay.
For sure, skis. But he played the terrified teenager and a person who just stepped up really well. All in one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He transformed throughout the film too. Because he was just a kid falling asleep at the wheel at the beginning, and by the end of it, he's a whole ass man. And
blowing the creepiest man we've ever seen away with a shotgun.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing at the end of the movie.
Exactly, but like he's damn, like went through it in that hour.
Yeah, and I felt all of his adrenaline.
Yep, because he wears it and he wears it well.
Yeah,
like and you know what? Props to costume and makeup for all that because they also did their fair share, I'm sure. Because like he was all up and whatever
80s out.
How they did his hair and like after different fight scenes you're getting dressed.
But you still gotta act. You still gotta move. You still have to move that weight and
everything
was
walk incredible.
Like you're miserable and you have to have that face like you're exhausted. Like I mean, it wasn't.
He had to do the full Ric Flair cell job.
He did. Give it 2 claps and a woo.
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
I do know the first thing I saw her in.
What is it?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Is that your first pair of boobs on screen?
Had to be close. It was in that time.
Okay. I've never seen that movie. I just know you told me you see her boobs.
Wow. You do see her boobs in that movie. She gets knocked up by Damone.
She does. That is the first movie I saw her in. That is bonkers. Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
The first movie I saw her in was The Hateful Eight. Thanks, Tarantino.
Definitely not my first pair on screen. That was thankfully From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah, and then
there's no full frontal boobs in From Dusk Till Dawn. I just recently watched it. I promise there's not.
Homie, don't watch it again. There's a lot of them.
No,
yeah, I think Jacob's right. I don't think.
I'm fairly certain.
I'm 100% certain there's not boobs.
I know Selma Hayek does not show them in that movie.
No. She doesn't fully show them, but
although, what a scene.
Yeah.
What a scene.
My first pair of boobs on screen was Selma Hayek in Desperado.
They're definitely on screen, and I had a VHS of that movie. So, yeah, they're absolutely on screen.
Okay, I'm going to rewatch it because I know you're wrong, and I'm going to rewatch it because I love that movie just to prove you wrong.
Cool. Just see where Mitchell paused it all the time on that VHS when he was 14.
Hey.
You'll find it.
Hey. Hey, you're overshooting that, buddy, by a long shot.
11.
You're still a little high. That's okay. Moving right along there.
But she was good in this movie.
She was good, yeah. She
didn't have a lot of screen time.
I wanted a little more fleshed out relationship.
I wanted
with
to
her
care
and C.
more.
Thomas Howell.
I wanted to care more, but at the same time, she called her dad. She said goodbye, and then she got ripped in half. Whatever. I mean, you cared about her about exactly as much as you should have, because earlier in the film, she talked about her family. She talked about her life. She talked about how she just wanted to get away, and, you kind of care. And she's just this poor Midwestern girl who just wants to live her life, and well, then she gets ripped in half. That sucks.
Yep. Like a
Ripped in
pair of
pieces.
Levi's jeans.
She, god damn.
Is Levi sponsoring this podcast?
She effectively
Yes.
got fridged. Yeah, effectively fridged. It was kind of a bummer. Wanted more out of her, but you know, she served her purpose, I guess. She provided the revenge plot for the end of the film.
The only other characters in this movie, all of the dipshit police officers, they're all horrible. Every one of them in this movie is terrible at their job.
They all wish that they were eastbound and downloaded up.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Anything else on Jennifer Jason Leigh?
No?
Not
Good with
No.
left off, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's time for trivia and facts.
What do you got for us?
Some good Rutger Hauer shit. Duh.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer did a lot of the stunt driving throughout the movie, which amazed the crew and even real stunt drivers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought that was fucking cool. C. Thomas Howell admitted that he was actually afraid of Rutger Hauer on and off the set because of Hauer's general intensity,
Oh, man.
which might be one of the coolest things I've ever read about an actor.
That's
Like
awesome.
what he was in this movie, like off screen, off camera.
He just is that way.
Oh, oh God, that would be hard.
No fucking shit.
Love it.
C. Thomas Howell's fear when Rutger Hauer was holding the knife near his eye was genuine. Hauer improvised the line and the position of the knife.
Oh.
No, don't do that if you're acting with me. You just stick a knife in my eye. Fucking tell me.
That's a little bit a lot.
Yeah, that was fucking cool. In Rutger Hauer's book, All Those Moments, Hauer mentioned how executive producer Edward S. Feldman settled on Sam Elliott for the role of John Ryder. Hauer states that apparently Elliott was so scary when he came into audition that Edward S. Feldman was afraid to go out to his car afterward. Sam Elliott had a scheduling conflict and had to back out of the role.
Oh,
And-
was he doing Roadhouse at the same time?
I don't know, but I kind of want to see this movie with Sam Elliott.
I would have loved to see this with Sam Elliott,
Like-
especially if he was that scary in the audition.
You can do both these movies back to back because I love Rutger Hauer in this role, but I would have loved to see Sam Elliott in this role.
I would be very curious.
I'm a big Sam Elliott fan.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it was Roadhouse that he couldn't do this movie for.
that'd be funny. Damn.
For the role of Jim Hazley, the producers mentioned Matthew Bodine, Tom Cruise, Emilio Estevez, or Charlie Sheen.
That is fucking funny. Wow.
Can I
I think Emilio.
if I have a time machine, I want to see this movie with Sam Elliott and Charlie Sheen.
I would do Sam Elliott and Emilio
I
Estevez.
would do Sam, yeah, and Emilio.
All right.
But Sam and Charlie Sheen's good too,
I want
though.
to see. I want to see Gordon Bombay get out of these situations. Let's go, Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's even more Marty McFly like.
That's what I'm
if-
saying. Like,
I'm
we're going-
thinking Billy the Kid from Young Guns.
Oh, very nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Mm.
The original script was long enough to make a 3-hour movie. Scenes that were never filmed include Ryder slaughtering an entire family, an eyeball appearing in a hamburger. This was replaced with the finger in the plate of French fries.
Yeah.
A graphic sex scene between Gal Galveston, who the girl before Nash, and Jim, and a character being decapitated. This movie underwent several rewrites which removed the gorier moments. And I wish we had the gorier moments.
Well, then again, 1986 special effects. Maybe we like it the way it is.
Maybe, but I
This would
still would have
be-
been down with it because you had the special effects from the Evil Dead that would have been used here.
That's
Stuff
true,
like
with this-
that.
with this budget. Yeah.
If you have a 3-hour movie and you can rewrite it into a book, what a great vacation read this would have been.
Yeah,
Just intro, cat and mouse game, end,
yeah.
conclusion, boom.
God, it was Cat and Mouse. Very well put.
Yeah,
Dig
that'd have
it.
been a great book.
Yep.
Damn, I wish I would remember this trivia because I wanted us to listen to the song before we started. But screenwriter Eric Red said that this movie was inspired by the Doors song "Riders on the
Riders
Storm."
on the-
Into this world we're born,
Yep.
like a dog without a like a dog without a bone. Into this world we're born.
Mhm.
Riders on the storm.
Writer, producer, and director Christopher Nolan has listed this as one of his favorite movies.
Really?
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan liked a 97-minute movie?
crazy, isn't it?
Then why don't you make a 97-minute movie? You long-winded, pretentious bastard.
Damn.
BJ, tell us how you feel about Christopher Nolan.
He's a long-winded, pretentious bastard who's welcome on this podcast anytime.
BJ, this bit of trivia is for you, my friend. Future President George W. Bush served on the board of the company that lent money to HBO to finance this movie. During the 2000 presidential election, Bush's critics used his involvement in The Hitcher to discredit his stance on family values and his criticism of pervasive violence in Hollywood movies.
You got a George Bush impression in you?
No. I almost did it, but I lost it.
I don't know if I can do it anymore. I used to, but it's been so long.
Yeah, same. I almost started like I could, and then I was like, not on the spot like that.
Hey, folks, I got some money for your movie. Oh, that's bad. Nope.
It's real bad.
Nope.
That just sounded gross.
Nope.
I gotta go.
C. Thomas Howell considers this movie to be one of his personal favorites. And I can see why.
It's a good movie.
He killed it in this movie. Throughout the movie, John Ryder is implied to be some kind of ghost or evil spirit due to the fact that he always seems to show up whenever and wherever he pleases, no matter where Jim Hensley is, as if he has some kind of teleportation ability.
It's a horror movie trope. Mike Myers walks just as fast as people run. It's horror movies.
It's literally how it happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you have to put it in there in order for it to work.
Right.
That's the Rambo T-1000 scary ass aspect of the character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see this movie. The Mexican direct-to-video movie Deadly Road from '93, a.k.a. Senderno Mortal, is a spin-off of this movie.
It's not Muerte del Camino.
No.
Camino. Muerte del Camino. Whatever.
Just stop while you're ahead.
Time to go.
This podcast has been referenced with the Godzilla podcast, but Now Playing Podcast reviewed The Hitcher. This film received 3 recommendations.
Yeah, but they recommended that piece of shit 2014 Godzilla movie.
Yeah, but they're right on this one.
Yeah.
Executives tried to have the death of Nash softened and toned down. The studio even suggested softening her death by having a funeral. The filmmakers refused to back down, and Silver Screen executives finally relented at the last minute.
I didn't want the funeral.
I didn't either. Her death was perfect.
Yeah, we didn't need a funeral. It went straight into that whole police scene, and it just kept it intense, and we didn't need to see her family. We didn't need to cry about it.
Yep.
Yeah, don't make me emotional in the middle of the ride. Just get me through the ride.
That's my trivia. Not a lot. Didn't need to be a lot.
No.
It was a cat and mouse kind of explosion, action-packed.
Yeah.
Thriller.
Horror.
Police car chase.
Psychological.
Helicopter boom.
Fuck.
Boom.
But with the psychological aspects, and great camera work, and honestly, great music. The music also is one of the things that I was irritated that I couldn't hear as much for the second half of the film. I want to go back and watch it again all the way through in one sitting, just so I can hear the whole thing, because it was very well put together.
Nice.
Impersonation time.
It's your time to shine, BJ.
Oh, Christ.
What are we doing?
Mitchell, last time you didn't want to do this. Do you want to partake this time?
And whose impersonation am I doing?
We're doing a creepy Rutger Hauer impersonation. You can think about it. You don't have to commit to going right now.
Well, it's hard to do it without doing it. There's so much physical acting. Like, you can't really sell that on a microphone.
That's the beauty of this.
Right?
Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's awful.
Exactly.
BJ, you're up, man.
My car ran out of gas. Gas stations sell cigarettes, right? No, I don't need gas. I'm a hitchhiker. I've eaten Taco Bell 4 times this week. I've got plenty of gas. That's it. That's all I got.
Wow. Okay. Lots of gas. Did you want to go before me, Mitch?
No, you go right ahead, Jacob. You go right ahead.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. So what I need you to do is I need you to reach over here and I need you to touch my big willy while you're driving, or I'm going to stab you in your willy. And then I'll play with your willy over here after I cut that bitch off. So it's either play with my Willie or I play with yours.
Why did you stare at me the whole time you said that?
Because I needed to make some kind of connection.
It had to be real.
It had to be real. And I couldn't go 2 incensed. I had to go with Willie because, yeah. You giving it a shot?
Boy, do you think a knife to the eye is bad? Imagine if I get both your testicles right in front of this construction worker. Now roll down that window, sweetheart. That's right. There we go.
Those are good.
Yeah. Any of us could do Rutger Hauer.
Well, that's phrasing. And scene.
Final thoughts on the movie.
So this was a really good movie. It's short of great for me. So I'm assuming if it's short of great, that probably puts it right around an 8. I'm going to say Rutger Hauer's performance and the pacing, I'm going to go 8-1, a little over 8. Really good movie. Really good movie with a great bad guy and outstandingly paced.
Okay. Mitchell?
I would go, after thinking about it for a little while longer, I was going to say 9, but I might go 8.75. 9's real high. It's the first watch, so I got to have to, have a little more time to think about it. I want a second watch on it.
I kind of want to second watch this too.
I would go 8.75, 9 area, because after the movie, I immediately felt like, holy shit, I need to see this again, which immediately we're going over 7.5 by default. If I need to watch it again, yeah. And the music was great. The pacing was great. The cinematography was great. The camera angles were great. Knowing what the technology was like back then, some of the shots that they pulled off in tight windows and tight spaces were just incredible. So even the little things were done very, very well. So it's frustrating to know that on the budget that they had, they made the money that they did, because from a film nerd perspective, this was absolutely killed. And then you have the acting that was absolutely nailed. I mean, by every member of the cast, all the way down to all the bumpkin cops. I mean, they knew what they were supposed to be, and they all nailed it. I mean,
dumbasses is what they were supposed to be.
But they still nailed it. Like, they didn't oversell it. They didn't undersell it. There was not once did we hear a Wilhelm scream. If there was a Wilhelm scream in this movie, the whole thing goes downhill, but it was all very well done. It felt original and authentic. And yeah, big fan.
Pretty much second Mitchell's, but I'm going 8.5.
Okay.
Incredible movie. I think it was great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every moment of it. Never got bored. Was a thrill ride throughout the whole fucking thing. I wish I had more.
Oh, that's a good score from all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of having more, should they remake this in 2022?
Who would we dreamcast?
That's the thing, because you have to have someone that's
Rutger Hauer.
akin to Rutger Hauer.
So who could we have that could do that?
So I think this is a streaming service television show where instead of essentially one city, they basically chase them all over the United States. So you get the whole 80s or 90s nostalgia, whatever you want to do for this one.
You do 90s.
You get the
popular right now.
You get the horror movie element, so you kind of get your Stranger Things nostalgia horror in there, and you get the Instagram wanderlust traveling the United States story in this.
Okay, nice pitch. Who are we casting? That's my question, because I'm thinking for the bad guy, you've got to have somebody that's
Walton Goggins.
Ooh, that's good.
As Mitchell looks up who Walton Goggins is.
Walton Goggins is a good choice. I think you just nailed the casting, because I didn't know who could do a Rutger Hauer.
Oh, that's a creepy bastard. Yeah. No, now that I see who you're talking about, yeah.
That's a good choice. So the 2007 movie, I love that we brought up Sean Bean already. Sean Bean was John Ryder in the 2007 remake of The Hitcher.
Oh, so he did die.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate that the top half of Walton Goggins' face is the same size as the bottom half of Walton Goggins' face just because his forehead is like 4 inches tall.
It's not even a 5 head. That's a straight up 6 head.
Dude, it is.
It's a 6 head.
He's Pac-Man, bro.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like Pac-Man.
That's a great choice.
All he has
Remake
to do,
The Hitcher.
Yep.
With Walton Goggins.
Yep.
I don't think it really matters who you pick to play the 22-year-old heading to Hollywood.
I mean, just pick one of the kids from Stranger Things. Pick Finn Wolfhard. He's talented and
I want someone cooler.
got moppy hair.
I want someone cooler.
Well, but this would make him cool.
Okay.
Makes him more marketable, and also Netflix already has him under contract.
There you go.
So
You're welcome, Netflix.
there you go.
We did it for you.
Yep. I figured
We
I'd
want
just play right
royalties.
into your idea. He's easy to use. He's decent enough that I bet he could pull it off. He was good in It. Actually, he was better in It than in Stranger Things, to be honest.
Not a huge fan of his in Stranger Things.
Not really, but in It, he was good. He was
I agree.
actually acted.
Jacob, should they remake it?
Oh, yeah.
Movie or TV show?
Doesn't matter. Just use
Yeah.
Walton Goggins.
I like the pitch we have.
Yeah.
All right, Netflix, make it.
Give us some royalties if you make it.
Absolutely.
100%.
Back end deals.
Okay, there's way too much gay stuff in this movie already. We don't need back end deals. Okay.
Jacob, it was like 69 seconds, okay?
Good and bad reviews. Believe it or not, it was kind of hard for this movie.
Was it her?
Because it's so old?
I guess so. You just would have thought it would have been easier to come up with
Okay.
funny good ones and funny bad ones.
Okay.
It was not. So April 18, 10 out of 10, titled It's Great. I like The Hitcher. It was great. I think the film was great. The location was great. The actors were great. The cars were great. The atmosphere was great. The plot was great. The animals were great. The clothes were great. The guns were great. The blood was great. The makeup was great. The hairstyles were great. The wages were great. The production was great. The best boy was great. The assistant editor was great. The director was great. The crew were great. The after show party was great. The hangover was great. The stolen drink was great. The hookers were great. The finishing was great. The accents were great. And overall, I thought the film was
Great.
great.
Did Tony the Tiger write this fucking review?
Sponsored by Frosted Flakes.
It's great.
Which, as we learned from Behind the Bastards, the Frosted Flakes and Corn Flakes and whatnot, made to not masturbate. Another gay thing.
How's not masturbating a gay thing?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that in the early 1900s, he didn't want people masturbating because it had something to do with homosexuality. Go with it, BJ.
What's up? What's up with cereal guys being so weird?
I'm so
'Cause-
confused.
Because the Kellogg's guy was the weird anti-masturbating guy,
Yes.
and the Post guy tried to send up like rain-making weather balloons.
Yeah. The Kellogg's guy created cornflakes and advertised it as it helping to not make you masturbate, which he saw as sinful.
So he was part of a religion that was basically like everything that elicits any reaction is terrible.
Oh.
So if something tastes good, you
Oh.
shouldn't have it.
Oh, buddy, you would hate me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
Yeah, cereal people are weird.
very
Well, I
good.
love cereal and fuck them. So
All right. So the core,
Yeah.
the underscore core 12 gave this movie a 1 out of 10.
Boo.
And he very much sounds like Roger Ebert.
Ooh, it's not great.
Titled Pointless
Ew.
Sadomasochistic Crap. This movie has no redeeming value whatsoever, but is simply a sick study in methodical sadomasochistic torture of a young, vulnerable kid by a psychopath. If you want a more in-depth summary, read Roger Ebert's review. My views are pretty close to his on this one. All I can say about it is that if you're the type of person who likes this kind of movie, if you get a thrill out of this movie, if you enjoy it, please do the world a favor. Pick up as many Hitchhikers as possible If that doesn't work, there are plenty of narrow, winding mountain roads for you to get drowsy on. 1 out of 10.
So if we like this movie, we should get a job with Uber or Lyft?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Jake.
Got it handled.
There you go. Already locked down. Check that out. Done deal.
This guy doesn't want to be friends with us because we all three enjoyed this movie.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be friends with that guy because he writes crappy reviews online. So eat my ass.
Should people watch this movie? Duh.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, and the acting's great.
And if you're not super into horror movies, it's a great one to start with.
Honestly.
Because it's not...
Speaking of which...
You're not going to have nightmares over this movie.
No, it's a good psychological thriller at best. At worst, it's cat and mouse. But, I mean, either way, it's like that's not a bad best and worst. That just shows how good the film is.
Yeah. My girlfriend, who hates horror movies, has now watched 3 with me. And as this one's finishing up, I was like, you hate me, don't you? And she's like, why? I'm like, because this is your 3rd horror movie that I've showed you and you've liked all 3. And she's like, yeah, you're a dick for that. Mitchell, thanks for being our horror movie guy.
Oh, I love doing it, man. Absolutely.
We're gonna get down the Rob Zombie Devil's Rejects trilogy soon.
And I'm excited to
get ready for that.
Pain.
Yeah.
You guys are going to rewatch those willingly?
Yeah.
Well, neither one of us has seen the 3rd one, but yeah, we're gonna watch House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
Okay.
Yep.
Also, idea for Christmas movie. It's on Hulu. Rare Exports is like a Christmas horror kind of movie.
It's on my shelf right over there.
Yeah, I know it's mine.
I know.
But for our watchers, we have it. It's on Hulu.
Hey, yo.
And it's a Scandinavian movie. Santa is basically Krampus, and he eats kids.
Ah.
Yeah. So,
idea
for a Christmas movie. Don't have to do it, but it's an idea. But join us next week for our official Halloween episode coming out on Monday, October 31st.
On Halloween, huh?
Hey, yo.
On Halloween. Sam Raimi's remake, or a remake of Sam Raimi's classic Evil Dead movie.
I'm excited.
Shot just like Sam Raimi did it with no CGI.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Watch the Red Band trailer if you're interested, guys. Join us next week because it's a fucking bloodbath, literally.
Bye.